Good morning. I might have to change my lesson plan for today. We've got lots of new yellow belts. Do some new stuff for our yellow belts.
Yes, I'm excited.
Good work, guys. Awesome. Adrian, you're looking awesome too. I think we might look at yellow belt for you at the end of the year. But you've got to make sure you're coming to lots of training though, okay, Adrian, because you haven't got the number of sessions up yet. So you're looking really good because of all the practice you did before you got your yellow stripe. But we're going to need to get your numbers up so that we can get you ready for, get you enough sessions before yellow belt for the end of the year, because you're already looking really good. So that's fantastic. Okay, now we're just waiting for, oh, Dr. S just hasn't got her camera on. Okay. Just before we get started, guys, next Saturday, being the middle of the school holidays, I'm going to take Saturday off, so we won't have a class at this time next Saturday because I probably won't have my lounge. We've got some work we've got to do that's going to require filling our lounge up with stuff and then hopefully reducing the stuff in the lounge afterwards. That'll probably take a few days. So we won't have the 11 o'clock class next Saturday, but we will have it the following Saturday. So unlike usually, we don't have Saturday classes in the school holidays at all, but because we're at home, and that second week of the school holidays, we probably will have a class, but I'll just take next Saturday off. So please come along during the week if you're not already. Now, let's get into it. Sit up. Come here. Take a walk. Raise your right hand and recite the tenets. Sujat, courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit, and the student oath. Nisok, I shall observe the tenets of Taekwondo. I shall respect the instructor and seniors. I shall never misuse Taekwondo. I shall be a champion of freedom and justice. I shall build a more peaceful world. But awesome. Now I can see Dr. Stewart's young folk. That's fantastic. Okay, rotating your wrists. Okay, now Mika here. This morning I want you to be able to show me 4-direction punch. Okay, so don't run away, young man. Your mum's emailed me some videos of you doing it. So let's see you do it for me. Change direction. And rotating your arms. Change direction. Oh, there's Dr. S. Awesome. And arms back. And forwards. Come on, Mikaela. I love seeing you on my telly. And rotating your torso. I'm looking forward to seeing your videos, Mikaela. I'm going to watch those after our class. And left ankle. Change direction. Change foot. It's funny how you're shy for me, Michaela, because Mr. Glenn Gould says you're not shy for him. Change direction. And hands on knees, going down, and back, and down, back. Dutch brain, leg rotated outwards. and inwards. And gently with your hips. Change direction. Okay, now just to warm ourselves up, get the legs warm, we're going to use some fundamental movements for white belts. So from here to warm up, we're going to step forward and punch, and then step back and do a low block. Forward punch, and back and low block. Go. Just to warm up. Nice big walking stances. Watch the angles of your feet. Make sure you're getting train tracks. Good train tracks for your legs. Not quite so close to the camera, Tangaroa. Spring your knee to create the sine wave. Make sure you're pulling right back to your hip fronts. Punch to your center line. And baro. Let's see the other side. Go. Punch to the center, Tangaroa, not out to the side. Punch to your center. That's it. And come on, okay, now let's do Sajumaki movements. So we'll step back and do our low block with our knife hand, and then step forward and do it in a forearm middle block. Go. So we're just getting the blood flowing. Nice big stances. Watch your body angle. Adrian, when you step forward, do walking stance. Don't go too fast. Walking stance backward, walking stance forward. Blocking forward with your forearm, backward with your knife hand. And to the other side, go. Make sure your arm is slightly bent when you do your low block. When you do your middle block, make sure you stop your arm in front of your badge. Don't block past your shoulder. So Dr. S, you might look like you're going a bit wide like this. Make sure you stop in front of your shoulder here rather than going out here. Yeah, that's it, in front of the shoulder. Might be the camera angle. And good on. Bottom. Grab yourself a chair. Just some light dynamic stretches. Cool, you can share a chair. You don't need a chair, it's fine. Cool, one hand on the chair, one hand by your brain, and 12 front rising kicks each leg. Just gently lift your leg up. Cool. Now with one hand on the chair, point the supporting foot towards the chair, almost like you're facing your chair. I need to just show you my feet a little bit more, so I'll step back a bit. So both my feet are facing the chair here. And now from here, I'm going to turn my body sideways and lift my leg up sideways. So my foot's pointing towards the front. My foot's horizontal. This is a side rising kick. I'm going to turn my shoulders out. So my shoulders and my body are sideways. So 12 of these. Note, of course, that as a kick, this one's compulsory for yellow stripes. Now we're just doing it as a warm-up. So turning those shoulders sideways. So my shoulders are facing towards the camera. Opening my hips up. Then when you've done that one, we'll warm up the quadriceps by going straight back. So both hands on my chair and straight back this way. More warming up the iliopsoas. Once you've done those, you can get rid of your chair and grab a little drink. Okay. We're going to work quickly through four direction punch and four direction block. And then we're going to get on to fundamental movements for yellow belts. Just waiting for chairs to go back. Okay, so first up, we're just going to work through four direction punch and four direction block. So I can see how Tangaroa and Mikaere are going. Okay, Tangaroa, you're going to be ready for four direction punch and four direction block. Let's see how you're going with those. Where's your brother and your mum? It's a drinks break, not a holiday. Holiday doesn't start until next week. Pop your chair away, Tangaroa. Okay. So first up, four direction punch and four direction block. Bit of a reminder. I'm going to do it facing you this time rather than turning around so I can see how you're going. Remember when you're practicing this at home, young folk in particular, it sometimes helps to put something little underneath your stationary foot, underneath the foot that turns around in a circle. Depending on the flooring surface, it could be a coin, or if you're on nice carpet, then you might want a little piece of paper so that you're not damaging the carpet. So there's something under that foot to help you remember that foot stays where it is. So we'll do the right side first. This foot's going to stay where it is. This foot's going to turn around in a circle. Four direction punch. Beat. Right side. Shi chop. And baro. Yes, Tangaroa. You move the right foot. This time left side. So this foot's going to stay where it is. This foot's going to move. Ready, left side. Stop. Other one, Tangaroa. And baro. Awesome. Okay. Four direction block. Right side. This foot moves. Ready. So Tangaroa, hold up your right hand. Other right hand. That's it. That foot's going to move. That's the one that's going to move. Yep, your saluting hand. Ready. Four direction block. Go. And baro. And now the left side. Stop. And baro. Cool. Now, young folk, if you're having trouble remembering which one's the right one and which one's the left one, it's okay to write a little L and a little R on your hands, because after doing it lots of times, it will become quite natural. So if you which one's right, which one's left, you can write a little R on your right hand and a little L on your left hand, and that can help. Okay, now, everyone coming close to the camera, because when we start with our fundamental movements for a yellow belt, we're going to start by coming close and working on the crossing. And then we're going to work through and do the fundamental movements. So just get comfortable. You might be kneeling down or sitting down, whichever is most comfortable. And we're going to work on the crossing for some of these movements. Okay. The first movement we're going to do is knife hand side strike. So knife hand side strike, just like knife hand low block, crosses on top. Okay. So I want you to bring your hands up in front of you. Your striking hand goes on top, smashing two watches together, crossing in front of your opposite chest. So the striking hand is the one that's facing you. Both hands, wrists back to back. Now from here, my elbows are down. You can see I'm relaxed with my elbows down, but my fists are up at shoulder height. And then from here, the top hand, the elbow lifts up as it swings across. And the other hand comes back to my hip. Okay, pull the other hand back to your hip at the same time. So using two hands. So just try that a few times. So it's crossing in front of the opposite chest. We call it the opposite chest so I can get a little bit of extra movement. The bottom hand pulls back to my hip. And you kind of just open your hand and twist at the last moment so you drive that strike into the target. Okay, so try that both sides. So your striking hand has to make it from here all the way over here in the same time that your other hand goes from here to your hip. So it's got to move really quickly. When you're comfortable, just try right and left. Crossing on top. Okay, cool, good. The other one we're going to do to start with is our knife hand guarding block, which is also done in L stance. So from here, hands in front of chest, they'll pull back and then block the other direction forward. And this time I open my knife hands at the last moment. So if I turn my body a little bit towards that blocking position, just so that I know that that's the way that I'm blocking, my front hand is knife hand outwards, knife hand outwards. My back hand is my knife hand towards me in front of my badge, just like a forearm guarding block. It's the same motion. When I do this, my fingertips are the height of my shoulder. When I do a forearm guarding block, it's my knuckles the height of my shoulder. Okay, so from here, hands in front of chest, pull back. When I pull back, you see the back hand is facing towards you, so towards the camera, and my front hand is pointing towards my chest. Now, when I do this, I'll turn sideways for you. I don't pull it past my shoulder because then my shoulder gets all tense. It's just relaxed about here. And then from here, it's going to arc around and block. Okay. Now, very importantly, my knife hand is going around, almost in a little circle around this way. So you can see if there were an attack coming towards me, I'm coming around and blocking it this way. It's not coming upwards. It's not coming downwards. It's coming across. It comes slightly higher behind me. And then when you're blocking, make sure you've got your elbow down because you're blocking with this part of your arm here. So if your arm's flat, then you've got no blocking surface. So here, wrist bend, wrist straight, arm bend. Try that both sides, other way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So notice my hands stay up. So they don't drop down at all. So tongue and all, show me this one. Good. So relax. That's the tongue and all. Now tongue and all, look at that front hand. Make sure that front hand is, your hand is, palm is away from you when you block. Show me finish the block, finish the block. Yeah, and don't pull it straight back. Finish the block and hold it. There, stop there. Stop there. Go, block and stop. Block and stop. Okay, that way. Cool, if you're blocking that way, look at that front hand. You don't want it facing towards you. You want it facing away from you. That's it. Okay, let's go on our feet. Now, the other little thing that we want to do a little bit of a reminder on is our L stance. Remember with our L stance that our feet make an L shape. So my back foot points sideways, my front foot points forwards. Okay, they've got a tiny little angle on them. They're not dead straight like this. They've got a tiny angle, but not much. My toe of my front foot, my big toe, is on the same line as my heel of my back foot. That gives me about 2.5 centimeters between my heels. And from here, I bend my knees and bring my hips back. So I've got a little bit more, 70%, a little bit more than half of my weight on the back leg. That's my L stance. Now you find that when you do that, your hips and your shoulders are naturally on a little angle, but not a big angle. Not like this. This twists my back knee, it's uncomfortable. Just naturally. My back knee is pointing outwards and my hips and shoulders are in a nice angle. Okay, so from here, let's get into it. Crossing on top, knife hand side strike. And then the other side. Notice I'm keeping my hands up. I'm not dropping them down. Crossing, knife hand side strike. Make sure your feet have got that nice L shape. You've got 70% of the weight on the back leg. So even though we're stepping forwards, we've got to keep our weight to the back leg a little bit more than half. Keep your body, your torso up and down. Don't lean your torso. Hands in front of chest is 1. As I go down, I rise up and cross. Strike as I drop down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. This one, Tangaroa, you're striking. Straight arm out to the side. Strike. That's it. Imagine there's a watermelon. You're cutting the watermelon in half with your hand. Cut the watermelon in half. Yeah, nice. Dr. S, can you just hold your left hand up for me? Okay, cool. When you're striking with your left hand, you're crossing a little bit too far behind you. Instead of crossing in front of your chest on your left side, you're crossing back here. So make sure you just cross in front of your chest. Your right side is good, crossing here. But your left side, you're coming too far back. So this hand's not doing much. So just bring it in front of your chest a bit. Try that. See that one? That's pulling a little bit too far back on the left side. Too far, too far. Okay, come on. Cool. Now, knife hand guarding block from here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're bending both of your arms. You're blocking with your knife hand and your arm is bent. Keep your elbow in. You'll see with a lot of kids sometimes that the elbow sticks out like this. They find this quite awkward. You got to drop that elbow to protect you. But no one seems to be having problems with that. That's good. Go. Breathe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Mr. K, make sure that front arm is bent. Bend the elbow of your front arm. Fingers, that's it. And the back hand, the knife hand in front of your badge. Good. Make sure you're turning that front hand so your knife hand is facing sideways, not your backhand. So your palm is almost pointing towards the floor, except that it's on an angle. Your palm's pointing away from you, like you're holding a torch and shining a light away from you. Okay, not sideways. So you got to rotate that wrist. Lock with the knife hand. Good. And come on. Nice. Okay. And relax. Okay, come on to the camera again. We're going to do 2 more. The first one, most of us have done anyway. Chukyumaki. Chukyumaki, a strike coming down on top of your head. You cross on top and block your head this way. Okay, now, the unusual thing about this cross is that instead of crossing up with my hands in front of my chest, crosses a little bit lower in front of my floating ribs. Okay, from here. And then this one goes up and blocks my brain, and the other one pulls back to my hip. The finished position is about 1 fist width from my head. Okay, about there. And you'll see that it's angled. So I'm not trying to make my arm flat like this. It's naturally angled a little bit. That's just natural. Okay, the forearm is what's over my head, not my fist. I've got a block with my forearm. And if you do that with your hand, you'll feel that you should hit your bone, not the fleshy part of your arm. That will hurt. You want it to land on the bone. Okay, so crossing on top. Come on, Adrian. Come on, Tangaroa. Lock your brain, Tangaroa. Make sure your forearm's over your brain. Your forearm, Tangaroa's over here. I need a noodle to come and knock you on the brain. Forearm's got to be over your brain. Protect your brain, Tangaroa. Yeah, you need it. It's important. And do the other side. Cool. Okay, that's our Chukyumaki. The last one is the hardest one. So we're going to focus on this one. We're going to break this one down. The last one is called Sang Pomakmaki, twin forearm block, where we're going to block with both forearms. For this one, I'm going to have my body on a little angle. I'm not going to have it straight because I'm going to do this in an L stance. The finished position looks like this. So everyone just try and make the finished position where the backhand is like a Chukyumaki and the front hand is like a guarding lock with your fist. So just try that. And your body's turned a little bit towards your guarding block one. Just a little bit turned towards your guarding block one. Okay, so that's your finished position. Now we're going to bring the hands in front of our chest, both hands towards us with the forward hand goes on top. The forward hand goes on top. Now, the other unusual thing about this, which you're doing by watching me, is you cross in front of the same side of your chest as your finished position. Usually we cross in front of the opposite chest so we can get more power. But if we cross in front of the opposite chest, watch what happens. This hand here starts going forward and it's not going to do any work. Okay, it's not going to block. So I have to cross in front of the same chest. And what I'm going to do is pull my hands apart. I pull my hands apart. So my top hand is blocking my brain and my bottom hand is guarding my body. Now, to make that a little bit easier to do, we're going to do one hand at a time. So crossing your hands, both hands facing towards you, top hand goes forward. We're just going to do the top hand. 1, 2, 3. Finish that guarding lock position, just the top hand. Make sure Adrian, make sure you've got your elbow in. Bend your arm with your elbow in, just like a guarding block. Bend your arm, elbow in. So Adrian, look at your finished position. Check your finished position. That's it. Starts palm up, facing towards me, and it twists to face away from me. Starts towards me, faces away from me. Good, Tangaroa. Nice. Okay, now let's do the bottom hand. The bottom hand twists and comes up and guards my brain. Twists and comes up and guards my brain. Starts palm up, Mrs. O. So both hands are facing towards me when I cross. And the bottom hand twists as it comes up to guard my brain. Okay, and then when we're ready, we can try both hands together. This is the hardest one to get right. So it takes a little bit of practice like this. So if you find that one of your hands is doing the wrong thing, if you find you're doing this, for example, just start practicing that hand a few times first, and then do them both together. That's it. Check every now and again that your top one's guarding your brain and your front one's guarding your body, and then do it again. So make sure you're checking. Keep your wrists straight. It's a really tricky one to do. Adrienne, just watch your bottom arms finishing like this. So just do this forward hand a couple of times by itself again, get it back on track, and then do both arms. Remember, it starts on top, facing towards you, Adrienne. That's it. Yeah, no, on top, on top. Yep, that's it. That's it. Okay, then we can try the other side. Okay, now remember, the first one we did, we're done. Yeah, we did tricky monkey. Okay, so now from here, crossing in front of the same side of my chest, top hand, both hands facing me, top hand forwards. Check that your elbows down, your forearm and knuckles finish at shoulder height. So just check that every so often to make sure it's going the right place. So Franz, look at your front hand. Your front hand looks like this. You want to make sure it's here. So just practice the one hand. That's it. Okay, now let's try the back hand. Guarding your brain, guarding your brain, guarding your brain. And then do the front hand a couple more times. And then try them both. Try it, look and check. Yep, check, lock, check. Okay, and come on. Cool. Now let's get on our feet and try them on our feet. Okay, now the chukyomaki that we did first is usually done in a full facing position. So we're going to do it in walking stance. Full facing, remember, is when my hips and shoulders face straight ahead, just like a punch. So what we're going to do from here, crossing on top, chukimaki, and come back. Cross on top, chukimaki, and come back. Making sure my hips and shoulders are straight. Hips and shoulders nice and straight. Come on, Tangaroa, you can do this. Sorry, young man, this class is a bit focused more on mum and the adults and the yellow belts rather. But you can do it. You can get into this stuff. This is such a useful block. Check that your hips and shoulders are straight, not angled like this. You've got to be straight with your hips and shoulders. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Good. The top hand is palm up, bottom hand is palm down. Lock. Pulling the other hand back to your hips and both hands twist. That's it. Check that it's over your head. Check that your forearm's over your brain. Check that it's about a fist width away. It's got a natural angle on the arm. A little bit too high there, Adrian. Stop just a fist from your brain. That's it. Make sure the forearm is over your brain. Good. Nice. And come on. Good. Awesome. Now the really hard one. So for this one, I want you to actually start in your L stance. So put your feet in your L stance. Make your Sang Pomak Maki. And then just go down, up, down. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Relax, cross, block. Relax, cross, block. Okay, that starting to look good. Mr. B, just watch that front arm. Your front arm's coming down a bit. You two fronts, make sure you're finishing here, not down here. So forwards with that front arm. That's it. Okay, now you're starting to get that one. So let's do it from our parallel stance, stepping into our L stance. One, two, three. And check it. Check that your hands are in the right positions. 1, 2, 3. Back hand guard your brain, front hand guard your body. Just a little bit longer in that L stance, Dr. S. Just a little bit longer and sit a little bit, tiny bit more. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay, wow, you're doing really well. That's awesome. Okay, so let's do the other side. Again, just starting your L stance. Start with your cross. 1, 2, 3, 4. And check that it's in the right place. Make sure that front arm's bent with the elbow in, fist up, and the back hand's over your brain. Good stuff, Franz. Nice. Okay. Wow, this is good. So now from your parallel stance. 1 and back. 2 and back. 3 and back. 4. Check it. And back. Watch that front hand, Franz. Make sure that front hand's going forward and blocking, not coming down. Make sure it finishes here. That's it. Bend that elbow a little bit more so you can protect. That's it. Looking good. Yes. Adrian, just watch your L stance. You're sitting a little bit too wide and you've got too much weight on the front leg. So check that you got a little bit more on the back leg and your stance is that nice L stance. Nice and narrow. Mr. K as well. Bring more weight onto your back leg. That's it. Now comes the test. The next test. Can we go left and then right? And then left and then right. Get our hands correct. Try it. Can you get your hands correct going left and then right? Check Check that finish position, top hand guarding your brain, front hand forward, arm bent, elbow in. Tricky, Mr. V, yeah? There we go. Yeah, nice, left and right. Nice. Adrian, guard your brain. Make sure you check your finishing position. A little bit more weight on that back leg, Adrian. Make sure you got a little bit over your half your weight, 70% on the back leg. That's better. Got to fix your stance as well. Keep that elbow in, Franz. Elbow in. Elbow down. Elbow down. There, yes. Keep that elbow down. Okay. The final test about whether or not your brain's starting to get this one. If you've got a little bit of space, you might need to go on a diagonal. We're going to go forward and backward a couple of times. So we go forward, backward. Go. Just try that. If you can get this forward and backward and get your hands around the right way, then your brain's starting to get it. If you mix your hands up, then you might need to do a little bit more of the breaking down that we've done before to get your brain used to it. Check. So have you got the correct hand at the top, the correct hand forward? This is the hardest way to do it. And seriously, it just takes repetition. So if you find you're mixing your hands up and you're doing your L stance and you end up like this and you go, oh, no, it's supposed to be like this, then just go back to what we did before. Just go back to this because you're creating muscle memory. Other way around, Franz. And come on. Who found when we went forwards and backwards, it was pretty hard to do? Yeah, it's really hard going forwards and backwards. So the way that we've got to practice it is just like we're doing on the ground before or in your L stance and just doing the same side a dozen times, 20 times. And once you've done that a few hundred times on the same side or a couple of thousand times, you won't have to think about it anymore. It just happens. Okay, so it literally just takes repetition. So the secret is finding little pockets of repetition and not doing it for too long so you get bored. So when you're on the couch and watching Netflix, you can do this and go, oh, yeah, brain's getting it right. That's good. Just do that 20 or 30 times and then take a break for the day. Okay, so it just takes a lot of repetition. Cool. Now, there's one last skill from Dangun that we're going to work on. One last little skill. This is continuous motion. Now, Chonji, Sajujitagi, and Sajumaki are all performed in what's called normal speed, which is you do one movement, and then you do the next movement, then the next movement. So it's just a rhythm of 1, 2, 3, all the way through those exercises and all the way through Chonji, the first pattern. Dangun is the first time we do a pattern speed that's different from normal speed. And we do one called continuous motion. So instead of having 2 movements that go, you have 2 movements that kind of join together and go. Okay, so try that breath first. Just try the breath. It's 1 exhale and it's 2 sharp points. So breathe in and go like that. Try that, just the breath. Go. Do your hands with me so that you can see your timing. Hands with me. Good. So you'll feel that there's a strong tension point every time we drop our hands. We go, then relax, up, and down again. So we breathe in once and breathe out twice. 1 continuous breath that has those 2 sharp points. Good. Okay. Now we're going to do that in time with our sine wave. So let's just do our feet. We'll move the left foot forward. We're going to go 1 in our walking stance. That's our first. And then when we do the relax, watch my back foot. I'm just going to angle my camera a bit so you can see my back foot on the ground. So when I finish my first walking stance, of course, both of my feet are on the ground. And then when I do that relaxed bit, I go down, look, my heel came off the ground. I bent my back leg, and then I rise up, and then I come down again. So it's like this. It's 1, down, up, down, 2. Okay, so let's try that. Just using our hands as we did before. Go. Okay. So you can feel that relaxation from that spring of your knee, from the sine wave. Now make sure that you plant that back heel on the first one. Heel on the ground, bend, heel on the ground. So heel lands twice. My back leg is locked in that first movement. 1 and 2. Try it with the other foot as well. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So that's the rhythm. Feel it's quite a graceful sequence of movements. 1 and 2. Now what we're going to do is add our hands. So in Pattern Dangun, you're going to use the same arm for 2 blocks. You're going to do a forearm low block. Notice my body is half facing. And then I'm going to go down and change to full facing, rise up, and do my Trikyomaki. So I go half facing, full facing, full facing. 1 and 2. The same hand for both blocks. Left hand, left hand. Right hand, right hand. And that continuous breath we practiced. Same hand for both. Same hand for both, okay? Use the same hand for both blocks. Block, cross, and block again. The same arm. Block, cross, and block again. That's it. Watch your train tracks with your feet. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's it. Now, pause for a moment and watch. The challenge is that first up, initially, we're thinking, I have to block when my body's going up. So we start trying to go like this. Okay, so what I want you to think about is just like we would do Trikyomaki normally, the block goes up as I drop my body down. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Same thing here. Down, up, down, down, up, down. So don't rush it. Take your time and make sure that you're blocking in the downward motion. Down, down, up, down. Down, up, down, down, up, down. So take your time to be blocking your Trikyomaki on the downward motion. Go. Good. So do your Trikyomaki on the downward motion. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Just take your time. Down, up, down. Remember the Trikyomaki. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Okay. And come on. Bottle. Any questions? Okay, so those are all of the fundamental movements that are in Dangun, apart from high punches. All of the punches in Dangun are high. It's only got 21 movements, so it's very similar to Chonji in its length. and we can cover that off in another class. The main thing to think about, well, for now, I just want you practicing those fundamental movements. So we've got the knife hand side strike, the knife hand guarding block, chukumaki and walking stance, sangpo makmaki, and we've got the high punch. So you're practicing those fundamental movements. And if you get comfortable with all of those, including this one, then when we learn the pattern, it's just a sequence. And that's the goal. When you learn patterns, don't jump in to learn patterns before you've learned the movements, because your brain gets all confused with how do I do this movement at the same time as you're thinking, which foot do I move? Where's it supposed to land? How does it all work? So it's too confusing. Learn the fundamental movements first, get comfortable with them. And then once you've done that, it's just a sequence. And you just remember, where do my feet go and which side am I doing? And that becomes really, really easy. So that's the most efficient way to learn patterns. Okay, so don't jump in now and go, oh, I want to learn Dangun. Practice what we've practiced today, and then once you get comfortable with those, it's then the right time to learn Dangun. Okay, now to finish up, just to get everybody remembering that you don't forget the earlier grade stuff as well. Let's just do Chonji together. Everyone doing Chonji. Remember to use your space. So big stances, and if you need to adjust and do the next movement. Try and stay with time with me. See you top. You're now feeling that normal speed rhythm. And bottom. Okay, so you feel the rhythm of the pattern. That one was normal speed. And then today we played around with continuous. So that's going to break the rhythm of Dangun. It's going to be slightly different from Chonji because of that sequence. Okay, sitting down, left leg out, right leg on top. I'm going to watch those videos of Mikaele. I'm sure he's going to be awesome. He seems a bit shy on telly. Got to do unusual things at unusual times. Just remember that next Saturday, we won't have classes because my lounge will be full of stuff. So please come along to classes during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 5, where we focus really on beginner stuff. And then at 6, adults will do a bit more fitness, a bit more advanced stuff. So you're welcome to choose whether you prefer the 5 or the 6. And change legs. There's Mikaele. Yay! Mikaele, do you think you can show me your full direction punch? I'd really like to see it. Tangaroa can do it with you if you want. Cool. I'd love to see it. You can get up and do it now if you like while we're stretching. Good man. Awesome. Do you want Tangaroa to do it with you, or do you want to do it by yourself? It's up to you. You choose. And when you're ready, full direction punch. Ready. Right side. Yep, cool. That's the right one. And go. Oh, Mikaele, you're awesome. Look at that. Okay, both legs out at stretches. And let's do the left side then, Mikaele. Show me the left side. Ready, and go. Cool. That's a tricky one, though. That's a tricky one. because we're so used to using our right foot. So is there something that mum can put underneath your right foot? Just a little piece of paper or something? This is a really cool trick, Mikaela. Okay. Usually you just use something pretty small, about the size of a dollar coin, but as long as you're comfortable, that's fine. So can you feel that under your right foot, Mikaela? Can you feel it? Okay, so that foot isn't going to move. That one's just going to turn around in the circle. It's the other foot that's going to move. So you got to keep that piece of paper covered up. Okay, go. Yep, keep going. Go, keep going. Yes, that's it. Awesome, and Buttle. Oh, big clap, fantastic. So that's a really good way to practice, Mikaela, is to actually put your foot on something so you're not trying to think about which foot moves, so you can feel it. It's a really good trick to learn. Because you have, put your hand up if you're right-handed. Show me your right hand. You're very right-handed, Mikaela. So you put your right hand up because you're right-handed. That's the one you're going to use to write. That's the one you're going to be using to cut your vegetables. And everyone heels in. And so at your age, that right side wants to do everything. And the left side doesn't want to do anything. So what we're trying to do is to say, hey, but what about the left side? We're going to make that do some stuff too to keep them even and smart. So they're both really awesome instead of just one side awesome. Okay, so using that piece of paper under your foot can help with that. Cool. Because you may have noticed Dr. S with his left side, when he did his low block and his punch, he used the same hand for both. Yeah. Right side dominant. Okay. And legs apart. Sit up nice and tall. One thing that can be quite comfortable here is just to gently hammer the insides of your thighs, and it just helps to relax the muscles. Try and sit nice and tall so that you're tucking your core forward. Then from here, if you sit up and reach your hands, and then just lie down onto one leg. As much as you can. You might be here, that's fine. Try and keep your hands together, because when you keep your hands together, you'll get a nice stretch down the side of your body as well. When you're holding in position, kids, just breathe nice and slowly and deeply. Just to calm your body down. And sitting up nice and tall. And let's go to the other side. Just breathe out as you go down. You'll find that as you go down, your muscle tightens up. It's going, oh, what's going on? What are you doing? And then when you hold it there and breathe and relax, your muscle thinks, oh, this isn't so bad. And your muscle can start to relax out and get longer. So adults, you may be aware there's two things we're doing here. We're not just stretching to elongate the muscles. When you've done exercise, particularly high intensity, which we didn't do today, but when you do high intensity exercise, you get lactic acid build up in your muscles, and stretching them out like this, pulling those muscles longer, helps to force the lactic acid out of your muscles, which reduces your muscle soreness. And up, sit nice and tall. And fold yourself forwards. Try and get that lower back pushed down, your tummy pulled down towards the floor. And keep your back nice and straight if you can, rather than arching it over. So if you look up and smile, that'll help. Go on, Mikaela, how wide can you open your legs? Show me how wide. Wide, nice, a little bit wider, a little bit wider. There we go. Tangaroa, how about you? How wide can you open your legs? That's pretty good. Try and flatten your back down. Push your tummy towards the floor. Nice, Adrian. Good. Look up and smile. Smile, not grimace. Okay, and sitting up. From here, if you just lean back and then pull yourself backwards, your legs will come in quite comfortably rather than trying to lift them in with the muscles. Okay, and standing up. Better change my camera angle so I don't chop my head off. Left leg behind. I'm so used to mirroring. Good. Just hold your invisible chair. Or kids, you can hold your ear as well. That helps with your balance. So all the exercises we're doing when we're kicking, when I say hands by your brain, that really helps with your balance as well as protecting yourself. You want your knees together and push your hips forwards. And change legs. Okay, we'll wait and see what the announcement is on Tuesday, whether or not we stay at level 3 for a little longer, given the rise in cases, or whether we drop to level 2. Once we hear the government announcement, I've then got to get in touch with the schools and find out whether the schools will let us back in. So I'll email everybody when I hear we're allowed to go back in. And until then, we'll just keep doing the Zoom classes. Remember, no classes next Saturday while I take a day off. But we will have classes during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So please come along. And relax, tidy up. New yellow belts, lots of new stuff for you to practice today. So I hope you found that useful. Ta-da. Kelvin, take one. Just before we go, something that I will show you, we've got school holidays coming up, and particularly if we're locked in our houses, that's going to be challenging for everybody. So parents, there are some good activity sheets you might want to look at to keep the kids occupied for 5 minutes on our website. So under members, syllabus sheets and resources, where we've got this link here. So members, syllabus sheets and resources. There is, here we go. If you scroll down towards the bottom here, there are home worksheets for children. So they're just some activity sheets that you can do. So there's a young children ones and children ones. So this young children one, for example, it's things to practice at home. It's got little activities, and sometimes there's things like word finds and stuff like that in there, and puzzles and things. So it can just be some little activities to keep people active during the holidays. Keep them out of your hair for a couple of minutes. Thanks, everybody. See you next week, but not on Saturday.
Thanks, Master B, and enjoy your day off.
Thank you. We've got some wardrobes to assemble. Thanks, everyone. See ya.